Take a moment to look down at the clothes you're wearing. Do you know where they came from? Do you know the impacts they made on the world? Behind our clothing is an untold story of the true cost of fashion industries. Hi, my name is Isla, and for my quest, I opened a door and took a peek into the world of fast fashion to seek a more sustainable solution. Clothing to many of us is part of our identity. It's how we communicate our personality and who we are. Some of us follow fashion trends and we become obsessed with the latest styles. And for many, clothing is simply a necessity, protecting us against the elements where comfort and practicality comes first. Yet within every fold and every stitch lie many stories untold. What is the true cost of our clothing? Back in the day of my great-grandparents, people would buy clothes for different seasons or the climate. Or they'd only buy and replace items when they had outgrown them or when they were damaged. But around 30 years ago, things began to change. Fast fashion hit the runways with cheap, trendy clothing, creating temptation for people to buy more than they needed. There's a lot we don't see when we're in a store picking an item off the shelf. In 2013, a clothing manufacturing complex in Bangladesh collapsed, killing over 1,000 workers. In 2021, a clothing factory caught on fire in Cairo, Egypt, killing and injuring nearly 50 people. And just last month, a garment factory collapsed and caught on fire in Pakistan, injuring dozens and killing 4 firefighters. According to Good On You, garment workers work in some of the most dangerous environments, earn the lowest wages, and work without fundamental human rights. The workers may work with toxic chemicals, and the disregard for basic health and safety has a devastating impact on their physical and mental health. Not only does fast fashion affect people, it has lasting impacts on the environment and all living things. I also learned from Good On You that the textile sector uses 10 to 20% of all pesticides. And the fashion industry creates 8 to 10% of global carbon emissions. The constant speed of demand and the constant speed of production and the demand for clothing means more land clearing, more deforestation, and less biodiversity. The chemicals used in the processing of leather leach into our water systems. Toxic dyes and microfibers released into waterways are consumed by both land and marine animals, which has severe consequences for the entire food chain. It shocked me to discover that dog and cat fur is used for faux fur, and this is not revealed to unknowing shoppers. Fast fashion makes us believe we need to shop more and more to stay on top of trends, creating a constant sense of need, causing us to feel like it's never enough and we are never satisfied. But we need to stop and remember our united goals for sustainability, notably SDG 12, ensuring responsible consumption and production patterns. Over the winter break, I actually began my quest with the idea of minimalism. Minimalism is intentionally living with only the things we really need, the things that support our purpose. You know, like skincare and makeup. Whilst I was researching the notion for minimalism over the Christmas break, I kept coming back to fashion. Who out there loves a good shopping trip? I know I do. So I began to think of ways which I can combine the teachings of minimalism with fashion. In all honesty, I struggled to think of something that would be impactful. So lots more research took place. Scouring the internet for an idea, hoping that one might come to me. I thought maybe I could host a workshop for my friends, explaining how we can't go to beach walk anymore. But then I had a better idea, a clothing swap. Clothing swaps help reduce textile waste and conserve resources by extending the life of garments. This helps lower greenhouse gas emissions, save water, and minimize chemical pollution. I watched the True Cost documentary and knew I wanted to share and knew I wanted to raise awareness about the impacts of fast fashion. I urge everyone to watch the documentary because it was truly eye-opening. I mean, it's not as good as Friends, but it's close. But back to the clothing swap. Job number 1 was to advertise for clothing donations with a basket at Ibuputu's shop. My first clothing swap took place on Spirit Friday at the end of April. I had used the space above the gurung, and I actually found out that there wasn't enough space. It became quite crowded, and it was a little bit stressful. Luckily, the Capstone Festival was happening at the beginning of May, so I had another chance for a more successful clothing swap. This time, I made sure to choose a better space, and it went really well. Following the clothing swaps, I organized with Ibuputu and Ibuke to have a little corner of the Green School shop so I could set up an ongoing clothing swap. And this is a start to the slowing down of fast fashion. During my ISU, The Rights in Nature, we organized an Earth Hour event where I collected clothes donations. I had been speaking with Ibuke and found out that she regularly sells secondhand clothing to local communities for a significantly reduced price. Some of the clothing I collected on this day was given to Ibuke so that she could sell them at the local market. It was a great feeling to know that I was giving back to the community and that this clothing was not going to waste or not going to landfills. I found out that 92 million tons of wasted clothing ends up in landfills, and only 1% gets collected into new clothing. Who has visited the Empire State Building? Imagine 250 of them. That is equivalent to 92 million tons of wasted clothing. One of our assignments in thematics this term was to find a sustainable brand and an unsustainable brand. Finding a truly sustainable brand is tricky, yet a list of unsustainable brands sprung to my mind fairly easily. There's a lot to consider when we think of sustainability. Waste management, energy use, emissions, supply chain, fair labor, diversity and inclusion, employee well-being, ethical practices, risk management, customer education, and the list goes on. It's not only the immediate impacts on the environment, there's so much more to qualify something as sustainable. I did, however, stumble upon a brilliant website. Good on you. On this website, you can search for any of your favorite brands to see if it is sustainable for the planet, people, and animals. All of us I know that it's a struggle to not buy from brands such as H&M, Zara, Uniqlo, etc. But there's always an alternative. All of us can make a difference, good or bad. I hope that you choose to make a good difference. And consider the true cost and the impacts that your decisions make. I'm now tasking you with 2 things to do this evening. Go on the Good On You website and search for your favorite brand to see if it is sustainable. I would also like for you to try to watch the True Cost documentary. Now I'm going to say thank you to a couple people who helped me during my quest. First, my mom, who was always there for me. Angie, Ibu Vantia, who were always there to help and never let me give up. Ibu Kate, who always gave me great opportunities. And now all of you for taking the time to listen to my quest journey. Thank you.